So what I'm going to talk to you today about is the grade 3 mathematics assessment for the province of Manitoba. You're going to find the information here on the Manitoba Education and Training Assessment and Evaluation page, and on the left-hand side it says grade 3 assessment. When you click that link, you get all the documentation you need to do the assessment. And the important parts on here has to do with this link here is to the collection of assessment results. That'll bring you to a separate page, which I'm not going to go over right now, but it'll tell you the dates that the collection is available. So the assessment you're supposed to collect all your information in September and October, and take the month of November to enter the results into the CAR website here. So in the fall, you'll have different dates here. But right now the dates are still from the 2017-2018 school year. But every fall it'll be updated based on whatever due dates they are. And so there is interesting information here, and make sure you look at it. For example, what dates to administer the assessments, etc. Underneath that, there's some information for parents. Please make sure you take some time and read those, as well as the support documents for reading, which I won't get into, but I will show you about the grade 3 assessment in numeracy. When you click this link, it'll bring you to a page to grab the support document. I'll go over that in just a minute, but going back to that page, I do want you to notice that the page right here, the provincial report, this is where you get the form for each one of your students. So make sure you grab the information from this grade 3 assessment page. So the document itself, the grade 3 assessment in numeracy, the support document, has some really great information on how to collect student results, how to administer the assessments. But what I'm going to go over is the 4 competencies that they're looking for. So we're just going to scroll through the document till we get to the first competency. The first is that students predict an element in repeating pattern. And you need to decide with all of the classroom activities you've done up to that point, whether the student needs ongoing help, whether they're approaching expectations, or whether they're meeting expectations. A student that needs ongoing help can only identify the core of a pattern and repeat and say that says circle, square, triangle is the core. Approaching expectations is that students can predict the next element by drawing it out and keep going, and they're looking for that pattern. But meeting expectations is that they're using number relationships such as skip counting or odd and even numbers to determine the element in a pattern. So when given that ABC pattern, that circle, square, triangle, they could predict every third element because they've been skip counting, but they don't need to draw out the whole pattern each time. So that's competency 1. Competency 2, whoa, I went a little far ahead. Competency 2 is that students understand that the equal symbol represents an equality of the terms found on either side of the symbol. And again, you're looking at 3 levels of expectations. Needs ongoing help is that equals means the answer is. Approaching expectations is that they're almost there, that they could make an equation and they have like 15 plus 2 equals something, or something equals 15 plus 2. But it's not just the answer, but maybe they're counting by 1. But the meaning expectations is that there's that number relationship, right? So that they're able to compare the numbers without having to count by 1. So that's the second competency. Competency 3 has to do with students understand that the whole number can be represented in a variety of ways. So it's about breaking numbers down either with manipulatives, or in number sentences, or with money. So if they can't do numbers to 100, but for example they can do numbers to 1 to 20, they definitely they need ongoing help. But if they're approaching expectations that they can still represent numbers from 1 to 100 in a variety of ways, but they struggle with making connections to real life situations, or that they're not, or that they're using multiples of 10 is also meeting that they're only using multiples of 10 in approaching expectations, and meeting expectations is that they're breaking numbers down without multiples of 10. The fourth and the last competency for grade 4 has to do with using mental mathematics to determine answers to addition and subtraction questions to 18. So it's looking for that quick recall and using fact families. In by the end of grade 2, students should be using um, multiple thinking strategies for those mathematics facts, whether it's doubles, doubles plus one, or they're building on making a 10. You don't need that quick recall in grade 3, but you do need to know those mental math strategies to get there rather than counting by one. If they're still counting by one by counting on, counting all, etc., they need ongoing help. But if they're starting to know their doubles and their zero facts, then they're good with approaching. Meeting expectations is that they can do their thinking strategies for all the numbers. So that is the grade 3 assessment in numeracy.